Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara is at work, and today we are checking out the Elementum with the Kwik Thumbstud edition. I have carried this thing and used it and tested it out to see how it held up, whether it would fall off, how it is with action, and just everything, so on and so forth. Now let's do the good and the bad on the Kwik Thumbstud. We will also talk about it on some other knives. So, the Elementum. The action is amazing. It really is. Because the way the Elementum's detent is set up, it's set up to where it's not like a crazy strong detent. It's actually set up perfect for thumb studs. So, you do see some people chopping their flipper tab off and adding an actual thumb stud in. There are people doing that and places doing that. And this just kind of, this is just a screw-on one. So this is really simple. It's just a quick thumb stud. And it comes with the little tool. Now, I want to shout out Eric_4_EDC for giving this to me. I will link him down below. Please go check him out on Instagram. But it comes with the little tool, and it's super duper simple. Bang, it's already off. Now, I have had no problems with it coming off or anything. All it is it just screws right on there. Now, I can't say how bad it's going to tear up your knife like this if you have a finish like this. So depending on which Elementum you have, like with this one, I don't think it'll be a big problem, with the satin finish. But if you do have the coated finish on whatever knife you want to put it on, because it will go on a lot of knives. Let's try it on this one right now. So, but it will scratch your knife if it's too... if it's got a coating on it, so you do want to, I don't think it'll be too bad as long as you're careful putting it on and off. But, it does have that, the screw that screws into the steel. Let me see how fast that was. Let's check it out. Ooh, that ain't bad. That's pretty awesome, actually. Wow. Pretty dope. I like it. Middle finger flicking action. Bang. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now, let's go back to the Elementum really quick, because I want to talk about a little bit, which is going to be basically the same thing with all knives, how it comes up. This one, I put it right here. I probably could have lifted it up a little bit more, but you notice how it is a little bit in the cutting path, so that is one thing. Also, the when you're holding it onto it like this, it's not a big deal really, but it is under your thumb, or you can put your thumb right behind it and actually get leverage behind it. So depending on what knife you put it on and where you put it, depends on where your thumb is going to land. Now let's put it back on this Elementum. I wanted to quickly show it on a couple other knives. This is the Zero Tolerance 0450. Works really good on it. Really, really good. I did find that some knives, it just doesn't fit on top of. I tried to put it on the Bestech Warwolf. The blade was just a little too thick. Like I said, you got to make sure the blade is under an 1/8 inch thick. Now here's kind of a weird one. This is the Civivi McKenna, and it works great on it. Now the one thing you do also have to make sure is that your blade on the sides right here is flat. If you have a divot like this, if it's not crowned, but if you have a groove like this, it won't hold on. So it does have to be flat, like this, or like this one. It worked out good because even though it has the crown, I put it up here where it was flatter. So you want to watch out for that. And it might work on some knives that are crowned right there. It just kind of depends. I know it wouldn't go on this one. So, but it does work. on the McKenna. Actually, really fidgety, this knife. Now it's even more fidgety. Another one. This one's the mini sheepdog, the mini Kaiser sheepdog. Works really good on it, actually. Very fidgety. And then this one, it's basically out of the cutting path, but I could, you see how much farther I could back up. And I see how I got a flat spot right there. I'm not sure how thick the big sheepdog is, but it might work on the big one. I sent mine out right now to Mike Emler, so I can't check right at the moment. But all you got to do is just look up the blade stock thickness of the sheepdog. The large sheepdog. I got the micarta version, so you just got to check it out. But it works on a lot of different things. Now remember, it works on a buck 110 and stuff like that. I want to make sure on mine that I do it behind the cutting path on this one. So I try to make sure I put it right about there. Now I might adjust it. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it goes. But it's very, very quick and easy. And the entire time I never felt it slip. Never had it get loose. It was tight the entire time. I did tug on it a little bit. Let me put this thing away. Always keep your parts and tools kept handy. Okay, so now downfalls to it, because the good things are you get the middle finger flicking action, because on one side it does stick out a little bit farther than the other side. On the Elementum, the thumb stud side is flat with the G10. Okay, so it's literally the exact same, basically, as the G10. Now, the other side is almost, I mean, it's close, but it does poke up just a little bit. Let me show you this really quick. See how that's like perfectly, if it'll focus, flat. On this side, it's ever so slightly higher. Not by much, though. I mean, it's literally only a tiny, tiny bit, but you get good leverage on both of them. And, you know, if you're deciding to put it on a different knife and not your Elementum, then just make sure your detent is going to be okay with it. Because it's not going to be good if you have an extra strong detent, or if the placement of where it's going to be isn't going to be good for your thumb or middle finger flicking action. The Elementum, this is supposed to go on like a buck 110, an Elementum. You can pretty much put it on anything that's under, I think, an 1/8 inch thick. So here, you can read all the stuff right here. It has to go up to an 1/8 inch blade stock. So that's what you want to look for. That's the thickness right here. Anyway, so the bad things. Let's look at the bad things. One bad thing is, like I said, you know, it can land underneath your thumb, or you know, you can also use it as leverage, you know, behind it, depending on where it's going to land. Like when I choke up right here, my thumb's actually over it, unless if I really want to keep it back. But when I'm back here, I'm basically hitting it. Now, another thing, I'm going to show this really quick. Now, you see it in my pocket. Now, I can pull it out every time and be just fine. And this can be a good or a bad thing, depending on how you want to talk about it or use it. But if I want to, I can use it as a quick deployment. So all I did was, when I'm pulling it out of my pocket, I'm pulling it up and I jerk straight back this way. So I go like this and I let it hook and it pulls it right out. Now you can accidentally do that if you're not careful, but it is very reliable if you like that. I mean, super reliable. But if you don't want to do it, also, I did it once by accident. And I haven't done it again by accident, because then I just realized, hey man, don't pull backwards, just pull straight up. So it's not a big deal as long as you don't, you know, if you don't want it to go, but then if you do, bam! So you can think about that as good or bad, however you want to look at it. Now, the only other thing is, you know, depending on what you're putting it on, depends on whether or not it's going to protrude or anything like that. Like I said, the hump. Now the cutting path thing is another thing. So with this, with the Elementum, it really doesn't get in the cutting path. And if I really want to, I could go up just a little bit higher and I would still get good leverage. I think it was up a little bit higher before, but either way, it's pretty much past. But like I said, I could scoot it back just a little bit if I want to. But you want to make sure, I mean, if you care about stuff being in your cutting path, like if you're constantly going through stuff and doing push cuts, and when you're cutting stuff, you're going like this, so everything's sliding up and through around your blade, then it might get in your cutting path. But if you're just doing cutting tasks all day and you never really get up close to the frame of your knife with push cuts, then it's not going to be a big deal. And one beautiful thing is, unlike thumb studs, if you get it on whatever knife you choose to put it on, you can take this off when you sharpen. Now, once you put thumb studs on, you know, you're not going to really be able to do that. So I honestly really like them. And the only other bad thing I could see, like I said, is with the finish. If you have a, you know, a coated blade, it's going to scratch it a little bit. You are going to get that little tiny nick in the blade. So, you know, also, it's not the most attractive, I guess. I mean, I think it's cool, but, you know, some people might not think it's attractive. At least not as attractive as just a regular, you know, thumb stud. Because the thumb stud's below this is on top. But I don't mind it at all. I think it looks kind of cool. I'm actually happy I have it because there are so many knives that I think of like, man, that thing would be so cool if it had thumb studs. It just like how I just put it on this. And most of my knives are under an 1/8 inch. So that gives you so many options. I think that's awesome. So, and then also, if you want that quick deployment out of your pocket where it snags it, this works great. It really does. And you can make it to where it works or doesn't work depending on, you know, how you pull it out of your pocket. That's what it's all about. So there you guys go. The Kwik Thumb Stud. I think it works great. I think it's pretty cool. I'm definitely going to try it out on a lot of different knives so far. I'm very impressed with it. And also I'm very impressed with how it hangs on, man. I mean, this thing's solid, rock solid. So there you guys go. Peace out.